Hey everyone, it's Brady Rutherford here, and I'm here today to share a video with you about debating. So now, this video is from my 2021 senior year in KZN. It's for the National Debating Tournament, and I just wanted to share this with you just to showcase the talent we have in South Africa and the true wordsmen and women that come out of this country. Aside from the sport and the culture or dramatics, we truly have some of the best speakers, innovators, and leaders of this world. And I would love to showcase that through my experience with debating. It's been so beautiful to learn how to truly use your words to inspire and encourage new generations, as well as just have profound, engaging, dynamic conversations with people to learn more about not only them but the world. And that is why I've truly loved debating, and I hope through this video I can not only just showcase my talent, which I'm proud of, but inspire and encourage others to do the same, or get into the sport of debating and learn about it and maybe become great speakers themselves, because that is truly what I want to do, share my love and passion for this amazing activity called debating. To do that, I want to share with you a video of my final year. This was last year. In preparation for the national tournament, we did a mock debate on this house believes that the lower class are justified in wanting a Marxist revolution. This was a very fun, engaging, dynamic debate, and I have included my speech in this video. It was done online because of COVID, and I think it speaks to interesting topics, and I would love to hear your guys' view on my speech, what you would have done, and if you want to join debating as well, please do. It truly is a life-changing experience, learning how to use your words correctly and in a way to inspire others. So please enjoy the video, leave a comment, please give a like, subscribe, and come on my journey with me, fellow future leaders.
Thanks, Kelly, for her speech. And we would now like to invite the member of government to open the second half of the debate. Here.
I will be counting myself down to begin. In 3, 2, 1. In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. In pursuit of a new world? No. In pursuit of capitalism? Yes. You see, what these powerful countries did was use their advanced technologies and military to unjustifiably take over countries, which resulted in an unfair oppression and in turn systematically disadvantaging the natives of these countries in multitudes of aspects. So what does this mean? Well, it means that to win this debate, we need to understand firstly the oppression that occurred, and secondly prove that status quo is a scam and that the only way to achieve equality is through a revolution. Should I say a Marxist revolution? So how will I do this? Firstly, by answering number one question: what are the global poor subjected to? And is this enough to justify them wanting a revolution? Number two, why is the pursuit of a Marxist revolution the most justified mechanism? I'll prove this by showing that it is the most fair mechanism and therefore is justified because of their plight. Now, before I get into anything else, I'd like to begin rebuttal. So we understand rebuttal with two main issues. Firstly, being economic. Secondly, being in the idea of practicality and this whole communism chat. So let's start with the idea of economics. So there were two main points. Number one was that it would diminish the incentive of progress and that there would be not enough hard workers. And number two was that the government won't make their money through taxes, which was the most prominent points. So firstly, on the idea of that it would diminish incentives, this is not true. What about the coal workers who are working every single day in the mines getting paid under minimum wage? They are hard workers. It doesn't mean there's going to be a lack of hard working and you fall on that point. Number two, the government is going to lose money on taxes. Firstly, this is now because there would actually be more tax because there are more people over the bread line or the tax line that would be getting money. Secondly, there would be no need for tax because of fair distribution. We wouldn't need a company or a government having to uplift people. There wouldn't be this communistic idea that you guys keep on thinking there is. It would be people fairly treated for who they are as people, as the proletariat, the workers. Okay, now moving on to that. No, thank you. Now moving on to that. The practicality of the piece. So you state that people are greedy and it's going to lead to more communism. But we are telling you that the resources are given to everyone, not one body, as Callista preached. Then secondly, you say that the power, that the idea of Marxism, that there's going to be this idea of communism. But firstly, we want to tell you that we're not here to install a policy on how to run this. We are telling you that we are justified in this piece. And that is what today's debate is about, which I believe both sides kind of
point of information.
I'll get to you now. What both sides kind of left out of it. It's not about how we're going to implement this. It's saying after these workers have been abused, have been systematically oppressed, and have been restricted of their education, how can we now uplift them, or are they justified in wanting to be uplifted? We say yes, and you are saying no. That is where the debate lies, not whether we can get enough money for this, because it's not a policy debate. I will now take a POR.
Speaker, please acknowledge the fact, well, two specific facts, right? First being the idea that, one, we are not advocating for status quo. We think it is horrible at the moment with status quo. And second, that in order for it to be justified, it has to have some degree of beneficiary outcome. If they are left in a worse scenario, it cannot be justified.
Your POR is taking too much time. Thank you. I agree with you. There has to be beneficiary outcome. And that is what we are saying. We are saying that status quo is bad. You're not providing an alternative. We are, this is our alternative, and I'm going to put it in the next 2 points. So number one, in my first argument, the idea of, well, ultimately capitalism and how the systems of colonialism as well as oppression have led to a capitalistic state that enforces society today. We can all agree on this. So now let's go into this exists on 2 levels. Firstly is the religious extension. Let's understand that during this era, the 1500s, where capitalism started to build in all the countries, it was founded on the very ground of religion, where churches were the powerful type, right? So now what we understand is that most countries were built off the backbone of their religion, of their culture. But these very countries, such as South Africa, where they would come and oppress these people and take over, these people had to be forced to follow the new colonialist religion. What does this mean? They systematically now behind on this point because they cannot keep up with these people. They are now following a new religion that they have to adopt to because they're new rulers of the land. As this famous quote is, religion is the opium of the masses. Well, now it's capitalism. Capitalism is the opium that people are so obsessed with because they think it can let you go higher, but that's not true. It's not true. What is true is that we need to find a way to uplift the worker, and that is not through a capitalistic state, which is owned by mostly white men who are too old to change their diapers. Now, moving on for that. Let's look at the second level, which is systematic oppression. What does this look like? It looks like people not getting enough education. It looks like people of color being suppressed to works and things such as slavery. It looks like women not having the right to vote. Let's use that example for this argument as a whole. This creates a chain reaction when we see systematic oppression. Women rights movement. So women didn't have rights and they couldn't work, they couldn't vote, right? This was for a long time. Now, what did this mean? It means they had no decision making in the structure of a country and how it can lead to. What that led to was that we saw women get lower paid, so it has things like the wage gap that exists today, or women not being represented enough in power. What does that ultimately lead to? Well, we see that this is a form of class that divides people because of their wealth. And now we cannot stand for this because it was implemented by a systematically, which caused oppression. So now, what are we trying to tell you?
Point of
We're trying to tell you that, no, when women are subjected to this, let's use this example. Do you think it is fair for them to stay in that systematic, or do you think they were right for trying to fight this and for preaching for their votes and for their rights, privileges? That is what we're saying in today's debate. They were justified. We're not saying that it's going to be an easy run to change the world. We're not saying that a Marxist revolution is going to be the easiest thing. We're saying that these people who are oppressed are justified. Are you telling me that your great-great-great-great-grandmother isn't justified for wanting to be able to vote, isn't justified for wanting to be able to make a change in her world? See, shame on you, because I believe they are justified. And finally, moving to the final argumentation on why the Marxism is the most beneficial or fair system, I'll be speaking on one important fact, that it is the founding idea of equality. It is not communism. And we're not saying that we're going to take the land and spread it and we're going to be controlling the land. No, we are saying that these people need to change and they want a new world. They want a new life because they have been systematically oppressed. Now, to add on to that, the final extension is that the most simple one. Humans have a right to protest. We, as people, know what it feels like to be let down, to be kicked down, to be shoved down. We do not want to stand for that. Well, then are we not justified for standing up? Because when humans are subjected to copious pressure, they're not expected to just sit and withstand torment. No, by nature, they will react. And we look at opposition's world. This is what their world looks like. They say, but we like doctors driving Ferraris and that hundreds of thousands of people can't even pay for the medical bills. It's only the top 2% that can pay for the doctor's bills, compared to our world where we are saying, yes, doctors can only drive a Toyota now, but so can that single mother feeding her son so that he can go to school also drives a Toyota now. And that is what is important into this day's debate. We see the benefits and the idea that they are justified in their want to progress, and that is where justification comes in, because they've been wronged and now we are changing that to our benefit. And therefore, I'm so proud to propose government.